Walking Blind is hosted by overly emotional dudes who overthink and overanalyze everything. Nothing the hosts say should be taken as medical advice or opinion. They're not professionals, and they're about to make that very clear. So just kick back and hang with them, because you've earned it.
Dang. We're here, episode 11.
Episode 11. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Walking Blind podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm also Mike. If you're listening to us on iTunes, please give us a review. It'd be rad if it was a 5-star review. It helps us. If you're on YouTube, which chances are you're probably not.
But we've seen our numbers. Like, comment, and subscribe anyways.
Yes. But yeah, we're trying to build this thing, so please help us. Help us.
Yeah, it would be really cool if you guys listened and then told your friends to listen to us. We'll do our best to make it as interesting as possible when we talk about non-interesting things. So yeah, man. Yeah. Episode 11. We made it. We made it over the hump.
Yeah.
You know, I've noticed I can't speak lately. I've been even when I'm in classes or teaching or whatever the case may be, I've been stumbling over my words.
That's because you have lots on your mind.
I guess.
Yeah.
I've found myself I've literally found myself going how do I pronounce that word? And then I can't. It won't come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about it.
Tired? Tired? I don't know. I mean, I think it's because you've had a lot on your head,
a lot of my mental,
on your brain,
a lot of my mental.
Yeah.
Well, that being said, let's hit it with the MPHC for this week, the Mike Perez health check. How are you doing?
I'm doing well today.
Today,
yeah. Should I go into it now? The whole.
We could. I mean, you could give the basics, and we can talk about it a little bit later afterwards. But
so I moved on from the job I was at, and so we're filming this on Monday, which normally I would be working an overnight shift, which was always rough for me. I'm not really that much of a night person, I don't think. I'm more of a morning person.
Even then, you're not really.
Even yeah, but oh, do you just watch now? I'm gonna be on time to things because I'm not going to bed super late consistently.
I kind of thought that you had a really good excuse to be late to stuff, and now you're just shit out of luck.
No, watch. I'm gonna show up to stuff, dude. I was floating out of bed this morning at 4:30 a.m. or whatever it was, 4:15. But anyway, so mentally, I feel good because I just feel like there's the new stress that's gonna enter my life. It's a little bit more. It's more manageable, I think.
Right.
And I'm just excited to I feel like I have in that meantime I have more freedom to do some things. I was mentioning how I want to I'm trying to dedicate actual time to trying to grow this podcast on my end. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna try to be more on social media, I guess. And I don't know, just try to do things for me. Just because I felt like I was getting pretty bad there. Yeah. But yeah, I feel better. I feel I'm tired now. I should have taken a nap today and I didn't, but I feel good. So yeah, that's me. Where are you at? I'm kind of in I'm still in a strange place in my life. But I feel like I'm starting to figure it out. It's hard to really talk about it without talking about it. Yeah. But it's one of those things where there's like you said, there's so much going on and that are big things on such multi levels. Mm-hmm. It's going to get better. Yeah. Well, and I mean, even though you've been at your new job for how long now?
6 months, because I started right around maybe 7 months.
because I started that new job right around the time that you started yours.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Because I had just switched. And I remember when you started your new job, I was going through all of my credentialing and stuff when you were first starting. So, yeah. And I mean, you know, like I think that a big thing with everything going on, work, home, life, this $11,000 roof that I just got fixed on the house. I think that there's like one of the silver linings that came from it, or that's coming from everything combined, is like, I'm back to looking at like the bigger picture that I kind of always did before, and then I kind of lost sight of for a while. And I think that, you know, we were talking today. We've been, I've been sending Mike videos and pictures of different studios and spaces, different ideas, because we really want to find a way to take you guys out of the living room, and you know, we want to do something, I guess, on a larger scale. Yeah. Just because, and I mean, here's the deal. Like this podcast right now, we're on episode 11. It's still young. You know, we have, you know, a really small but solid listener base that do listen to us and rock with us every week.
Yeah.
Right. And so this, to me, it's less about like, hey, let's find a way to monetize this show and like make it life. You know, for me, it's more about like, hey, let's do this creative process that we can build up into something that we love to do. Yeah. You know,
make it look good.
And then make it look good. Like we don't, you know, we want to have more than 8 viewers on our YouTube channel. We get it. It's one camera angle. It's just 2 semi good looking guys staring at a camera with their gray in their hair and their sultry brown skin.
Still gray.
But yeah, anyways, yeah. So and plus I just got back from a weekend with the boys. We took a little Vegas trip with like some of like my like real close homies. You were supposed to be there, but
yeah, my
situations, especially with, you know, it being your last days and everything, just didn't work out.
Yeah, my last day was originally going to be the 27th, which was Thursday. But then they asked if I could just finish my normal, because I would have worked just like basically Thursday is like my Monday, and so they're like, if you're going to work that day, you might as well, can you just finish your
can you
your
just
weekend?
do your week?
I was like, yeah.
But, so I guess, yeah, moving on from the MPHC segment, I guess let's talk about your job situation, because I know that this has been like, we've been cryptic, but not so cryptic that you can't figure it out if you really listen to the show. But you know, we were just discussing the job, the position, what it is, what it's done, you know, kind of the pros and cons of everything that led you to the decision to really walk away.
Right.
You know, so I mean, you don't have to disclose everything, but like, how much of that do you want to talk about?
Well, so first off, I think the like what the organization is doing is awesome. Like they're taking in kids from the foster system, kids who've had issues with the court, but there's also like they also will even take in kids who are like seeking emancipation from their parents. So it's not just like entirely kids who have like issues, but the group that we had, those kids were all court ordered and stuff, and so it's just difficult. Like I know that especially at our agency, they had a hard time with hiring new like staff, because we were pretty short staffed pretty much the entire time I was there. And you know, I feel like I worked a lot while I was there, but so did a lot of my coworkers. Like it was hard on everyone. And for me, like I thought like this has been a good experience for me, because like especially like doing social work, like I was a residential counselor, so I worked with the social workers or the mental health specialists that they had, and so we kind of know what their plan was, and then my job was mostly just being with the kids and redirecting behavior, and so which is good because that's kind of like seeing what clients I could potentially get at ground level and like being with them, like instead of working like goals and plans for them to do and then like moving on to the next person. I was there with the kids, so it was cool in that sense. It was difficult in that sense just because I'm not used to like. I think we talked about this before on another one of our episodes where, you know, I'm used to people wanting to make a change in their life, or at least having questions about their, you know, what's going on in their life. And then I like being a part of that process. I like being able to help them, you know, point them to resources or find you know, professional help. And so that's always been what I've been used to. And so this was very different because these kids, they want to be kids. They don't want to talk to me. Yeah. They don't want to talk to anyone, really.
It's different when people come to you versus people having to talk to you, you know? So the dynamic immediately changes. The scenario immediately changes. And then, you know, you're left with a kid that's already upset that they're there. And then now I have to fucking talk to this old man. You know what I mean? Like,
so for me, like, I thought I did well with, like, you know, obviously, you know, being in like the scene we were in, like, I've seen violence, I've seen like outbursts, I've seen like people act and react poorly to things. Like, I've seen that. I wasn't used to seeing it coming from, like, you know, some like 13-year-olds like just punching out TVs and stuff, or at our facility, anytime a kid leaves the premises basically without permission, it's considered an AWOL, and it's basically like running away, and so we have to report it like a missing child's case. And so there's like a whole process we have to do. There's paperwork we have to do with it. And so like I wasn't used to having to like call like the police on a missing kid.
Like,
you know?
What is this process?
And I was like,
what's the number to 911?
Yeah. And you know, I felt like this was like a learning thing for me because I had to call, instead of calling 911, we called you know, like the city, right? You know, the department and stuff. And so I don't know. It was an experience for me that I will never forget. I really like my staff there, you know, and I felt bad for everyone, like even the higher ups at the positions, because it's like there's not much they could do because nobody wants to work right now. Like nobody wants to work, so so they were asking kind of a lot from everybody, right? And so I wanted to give it. I always wanted to give it at least 6 months. And before I kind of figured out if this is where I want to stay another 6 months and kind of go from there. But also a big factor in my deciding to move on is because when I originally got hired there, I thought I was going to be able to kind of get settled and then start my master's program. Like that was the original plan. But since I've been there, I haven't even thought about school. I don't want to do school. Like as it was standing, like I was so just focused on like the day to day like survival that I didn't care.
There's no other thoughts.
Yeah,
other than like coffee this weekend.
Yeah, and then maybe like it was like, thank God for like the podcast and for Burner State, and then NBR like having things coming up because it really helped me mentally. But yeah, so I realized that, like, you know, it's already here coming up on 6 months, and I haven't even, like, I don't want to do school. Basically, what I was thinking. And so that's when I kind of decided I think I'm gonna put in my 2 weeks. And my boss was very understanding. And so it was a good I guess transition out. You know, I thought, you know, again, I know like how like with the state of the state it's in, like it sucks to leave. It sucks when they leave. You know, I remember when hearing people taking off, it was a big bummer. So, but everybody understood and everybody was really supportive of me and stuff, and so that was cool.
They're like, "You got out? How'd you do it?"
Yeah,
you haven't even been here that long. How'd you do it?
Yeah, and but I will say, like, one of the funnier or cool things was So the whole time I've been there, I have not told them about no bragging rights.
Okay.
And so,
What's that?
and so, well, and the reason was because like I had a cool conversation with one of my professors when I was still in my doing my undergrad, and I remember bringing this up and saying like, hey, when should I talk about that? Should that be a talking point when I connect with kids and stuff? And she said, she's like, yes, that could be a very strong talking point, but also I would encourage you, especially in your first couple jobs or positions, to try to use what you've learned first before having to lean on that, because that's like a pretty cool thing to lean on.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so I that stuck with me. And so I did my internship, and I went all the way until my last day, until the principal outed me. I was a counselor at a school, and the principal on my last day outed me, and so that was interesting having to explain to them like, oh yeah, I used to play in the hardcore band.
It's true though. Like you have kids, especially younger kids, are gonna look at that like it doesn't matter if you made money on tour or not, or if you're making a living or not. Just the fact that like you're a dude that has toured in a band, or you've been on stage and you are the singer, whatever the case may be. Just the fact that you did that is like, it's a huge like, oh, okay, Yeah. So I kind of like the concept of like, yeah, don't tell them.
It's hard, especially when you want to connect with them. But yeah. I felt I took it as like a challenge. Like I was like, I can find other ways to connect. And so I knew like the kids, they're really into like music and hip hop and stuff. So every now and then I'd try to have conversations. And I'd come about it as like wanting them to tell me why they liked what they like. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah. And also, and this is like kind of, I think this is more of a reason why I never brought it up either. I just assumed they were going to find out. Like
eventually they would just figure it out. Yeah.
They have access to the internet, like they have phones and stuff, or most.
What are you the first thing that comes up when you Google Mike Perez? I doubt
Probably
it.
not.
Let's see.
It's not even me on
on Spotify. So the first thing that comes up is Mike Perez, the Cuban boxer, mm-hmm. which is fair. And then you have Mike Perez stats for baseball. Apparently, he's a pitcher that bats right.
I didn't know that. I know there's a Martin Perez, who actually kind of looks like me. Kind of a trip.
Oh yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah, even my mom. My mom was like, "Whoa."
Yeah, you don't show up anywhere on the Google search for Mike Perez.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought they'd find me like on Instagram or something, or because they found my coworker, the one that I work with most of the time.
Oh, okay.
So they found her, and so I was like, "Oh shoot!" I remember I actually put my profile on private, but I don't know. I just always thought like if they're gonna find out, they're gonna find out, and right. So it was never like a pressing thing to like just share. And also, I didn't really think they'd care that much. I don't know why. And so on my very last day, I made it a point to like show them. And so I had them. It's just like 4 boys. So I had them come into like a living room, and I just brought up the Breaking Point video. And I didn't even say anything. I was just like, hey, I want to show you guys something. I played it. And it was funny because like one of the kids, like right away, you could tell he was just like, no way. Like one of the kids, like it took him a while, but once he like pieced
put 2 and 2 together that hey, that's you.
He's like, I don't like this kind of music. And then like he realized, it was cool. I wish I could have videotaped it, but I feel like a facility for children, like or minors, probably not a good idea to videotape. So, but it was cool. But anyway, all in all, I learned a lot. It was difficult for sure. The hours were rough. Again, it's a situation I wasn't used to. I'm not used to like really like crazy environments like that. Like
right.
My upbringing was pretty chill. Actually very chill, I think. Well, compared to this. But like, yeah, like holes in walls are common. They're like a common thing, broken windows.
I don't know who patches those holes in the walls. Do you patch them?
They have like a crew.
They have a guy.
Yeah, all we have to do is like whenever something breaks, we just fill out a form, like what needs to be fixed and why, and then we submit it, and then they have someone come in, and it's handled like pretty quickly.
Interesting.
Yeah. And they do like restitutions basically. Like they have to comes out of their allowance. They get an allowance, which is cool.
So, but is their allowance though? Like, let's say a kid punches a 32-inch flat screen. Do they make enough allowance to cover that? Or
No.
Like, okay.
No, they get. I mean, their allowances aren't very big, but as something comes out at least it's noticeable for the kids, especially when they're when you're young, you don't have money. Anything it's very like it's all noticeable. Yeah. So, but definitely not enough to like keep them from doing it. But
I was gonna bring this up. Actually, when I was talking about like what I've been going through my mental health check, because I came across this today and it fit, but then it also kind of fits with your situation with the kids. So there's a quote that said, "Sometimes you have to make peace with the fact that you're the villain in someone else's story, even if you thought you were doing the right thing. You don't get to tell them how to narrate their experience." So it's fitting because for these kids, you're like, "Hey, I'm here to help you." And for them, you're basically a nice jailer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that dynamic is tough to deal with. And then plus your hours that you were working and the, going.
I was going to say, both my eyes were twitching for like months.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And so we would talk about like our Sunday morning, coffee or Saturday morning coffee and like our little therapy sessions with me, you, and Martin. And like a lot of the times, like it was me and Martin sitting back, just like holding the Mike Perez special with like a straw in my mouth, just listening to your stories. Like, damn.
I never use names if anyone from my work.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you anybody's names over there or anything, but
I never told you guys the facility's name, did I?
No. The only thing you told us about the facility, which I'm gonna out right now, is that you were embarrassed to drive their minivan.
but I'm not. No. Okay, hold on.
Is that
let me... So I just remember I was like, oh, no, I'm not.
You're like, what are you talking about?
Okay, so they have two minivans. Okay. An old one and an older one. Like I felt so bad. These are high school kids and they have to like roll up in this van. So I would try to make a joke out of it. I was just like, oh, just like high performance machine, let's name it. And they're like just like they're like, no. And so like I'd kind of like make a joke of it or something, or like anytime like I try to like push it past 40, I'm like, oh, you guys feel that?
Ooh, you feel that shake?
They're like, no, like what? Don't do that. And so, especially with the boys, it's like whatever, it's like fun. But I had dropped off the kids at I think it's school or something or appointment. So I was driving back, and on the way back there was a Starbucks, and so I parked. I parked kind of away. I don't want anyone to dent the company, the company van. Yeah. And so, I thought I was a safe distance away. And as I was walking out of the van, there's these two ladies walking in my direction. And it was the first time I was genuinely embarrassed. And it's not like I can be like, this isn't mine.
Work vehicle.
This is my work vehicle. This isn't mine. But
first off, don't worry about the kids getting out.
No, that's what made it worse. There was no kids.
Oh, you were just by yourself?
I was by myself. I dropped them off. I was just making a quick stop before I went back to the facility.
Amazing.
And so I was just like, and I'm not going to be like, this isn't mine.
Because you just instantly look worse.
Yeah. That's trying to defend it.
That's not mine. I drive a Camry.
I wish I could say I like walked, like just owned it and kept walking, but I was just like, like checking my phone.
Act like you don't see them. I don't see them. They don't see me.
I should have like went around like, yeah, I think it's the car that hit me.
That's amazing.
So yeah, but it was. I mean, for as wild as it was, there were some cool moments, and I had some good talks with the boys, and yeah, it was. I mean, teen years are tough, and situations they're in, and you know, it's it can be sad, but I don't know. The facility's doing good work. Like they are doing they're doing the best they can, and it's hard because it's like, you know, in a perfect world you have fully staffed, things will be fully staffed, and there's more things you'd be allowed to do with the kids. There's just certain things that you can't do with this population, and it's a bummer. But it was still fun. I got to go Not Scary Farm with them.
Which, now knowing that you're scared of everything, is pretty shocking.
I can handle Not Scary Farm. But anyway, so yeah. So now, so now I feel like I'm happy I did it. Like, I feel like it was good for me to do that. And you know, I think it'll look pretty good on my resume moving forward. Definitely learned a lot of things, and so now now I'm just looking at master's programs, and then back at Daily Brew coffee shop.
Nice. Morning shift?
Riverside, baby. Yeah.
Nice.
Today was my first shift, and I just worked a short shift, just kind of get, you know, see if I still knew how. It was like riding a bike.
Now, did you do the morning Adele check?
I didn't, because, and I'm going to, but because I've had a couple of my Adele checks taken down.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you look on my page, there's like, it feels like there should be way more. It's because there was.
And they
all got copyright. Yeah, so I think what I have to do is, like, when it's not Adele and it's clear it's not Adele, I need to cut it quick.
But what if it is Adele and then you get a copyright claim on Adele?
It's worth it. I'll know.
Yeah. Facts.
I'll know. I'll repost it without audio or something, or I'll sing the audio behind it. But yeah, but for anyone dying to know, it was not Adele today. It was I think it was like the noise that. I think it was like something pretty cool though.
Wait, so then what's your shift now? Are you gonna be abandoning the Brew Boys?
No.
On the weekends?
Oh. I'm not. Let's see. I basically have Saturdays off. Saturdays off for sure, and then I think I don't know. I think I'm gonna be there like Sunday through. I don't know, but the latest I'll be off is like 1:30, and then on some occasions I can be off as early as like 9.
Okay.
Or probably 11, but I mean, yeah, Saturdays I'm off.
All right.
So we will still meet.
So this marks the death of an era. You know, for Mike and his first grown-up job.
Yeah. It kicked the shit out of me.
Life sucks.
Life is hard. Life got bleak.
So real quick, I had to ask you. I don't know if you've been keeping up or not. Have you been keeping up with Book of Boba Fett?
No.
Okay. I'll just say this right now. Episode 5 was like the greatest. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. And yeah,
I think I've only seen 2 episodes.
Dude, well, how much longer do we have left?
I know.
But no,
I still haven't seen last week's episode of Peacemaker.
Okay, let's get to questions. Because you need to see that episode. All right, so we have some other questions that we're gonna read out to you guys. I am really bad at keeping track of names, so I'm sorry.
It was rough. It was we were trying to pull them off the live, and yeah.
So let's start here. Is it ever hard to write encouraging music when life isn't easy?
I mean, yeah, it is. But at the same time, I think I feel like I've said this before. I really lean into it as much. Like again, some of the topics we talk about are hard topics to talk about. Like there's not a whole lot of silver lining in them. So I guess in a way, it's almost kind of fun to try to pull out what you can. I mean, I'm a believer that some things just suck, and that's fine. MBR has songs that don't resolve.
Right.
We have songs that don't resolve. our song Downhearted doesn't resolve.
Yeah.
There's no real positive in that song. I know there's others, but if it doesn't resolve, at least I'm hoping that it at least sparks conversation. And so that's like the hope, you know. So I don't go in like thinking like, oh, this has to be positive somehow. Like, how do I turn someone taking their own life into something positive? You know what I mean? Like I don't think like that. I just think of like, write about what it is and try to find an angle of how to write about it, you know. This was like perspective of like, cause I try to like, you know, put myself in like, oh, you know, I got a degree in social work at some point. I hope to do like therapy, like clinical therapy kind of stuff, and speaking with people. And so, the weight is like talking to like, almost like I'm talking to the daughter of someone who had taken their life,
right.
You know? And so, yeah, it's difficult, but I think it's easier when you try to just be as real as you can about the topic and like lean into how bad it is, whatever you're writing about. And then from there, once everything is like pretty black and white for those things, then you can try to pull, if there's anything to pull from, maybe pull something that could be a strength in a situation like that, whether it's something that you hope could be a strength or something that you've seen be a strength in the past. Like that's what makes writing fun. There's so many angles you can pull from like a theme or, you know, topic.
I get that. I mean, in my perspective, like when it came to Creative Void and it came to writing Creative Void songs, like that band was always a positive band, you know, like even though it was heavy, even though it was aggressive, like the overall like end message was always positive, just because of like, you know, kind of where we were in life and like the trying to adapt that thinking. I was kind of a douche back then. You know, but like still I wanted to like try, like you said, find that perspective where things can be positive. Right. Torture Culture is a completely like this new record, and I kind of approached with like, I want it to be just like pissed, like the mentality of like, you know what, just fuck it, you know. And like I feel like out of that EP, like maybe 2 songs have a resolution and the rest just don't, you know. So yeah, I also think that like it very much goes into how you're feeling when you're writing, and sometimes, you know, with the intention of saying like, I don't want to show the positive side of this, for me anyways. But I approach writing like I kind of write differently. I want to tell like a narrative instead of like, you know, you have bands that are like Kublai Khan, right? Where it's just in your face, straight to the point, aggressive, right? And then you have other bands that like No Bragging Rights, where lyrically you might be telling the exact same story that they're telling on this record, but you're doing it in a way that's like third person point of view, perspective, artistic, like, you know. So I like Martin was making fun of me when we started working on the Torture Culture stuff, and I was like, yeah, you know, like I want this to be angry and pissed and more to the point, but I still like telling a story. And Martin would just walk through the hallways of the studio going like, I was just a boy, but now I'm a man. Like, just, you know, just shit like that. And then it like made me take everything less serious. But yeah, just, you know, it definitely, it's all kind of in mindset and, you know, where your head is at and your headspace is. And really kind of goes back to what we said last week, like positivity is a choice, right? So, and that kind of applies to songwriting. Like you said, you can't necessarily just make light of suicide, depression, stuff like that, but you can find a way to put that positive spin on things.
Yeah, that's what makes music great. You'd never know. Dude, I think Lionheart has like a lot of like awesome mental health themes and stuff, and you know, I've seen a couple people like kind of point that out, but it's like I'm surprised they're not more like the forefront of that.
Yeah.
I was just like, dude, he's talking about.
We should get the boys on the show.
Get Rob.
Hey, Rob, you wanna come hang out with us? Okay, and let us know.
Rob brought us a little care package. We came through. I think we were like in Sacramento, and he rolled through. Just has like little, because we were passing on tour, and they were home, and he just came by. He had like, I don't even know, like deodorant, I think like Red Bulls and like socks and like different like snacks and stuff. I was like, what the?
That's sick.
What the fuck? Fucking rad.
They're good dudes, man.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Is returning to the road an exciting idea, or does that make you nervous?
It would be exciting if I knew that like we could all do it and like there wouldn't be any consequences to us.
Yeah.
Up and going. The thought of leaving for longer than a month would be that would probably make me spiral, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, it would be cool to do like small runs, like do like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
I was gonna say do like a month, but like I realized that's old me talking.
I mean, do like a 3 weeks.
I just don't know that any of us could really take that time.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think, yeah, I mean, I want to play, and it'd be cool to do like something like that. I just don't see it being like a possibility unless something crazy changes.
Yeah.
But I thought when the pandemic started, that was like the end of NBR, and probably the end of music for me in general.
I think a lot of
two
people
bands
felt
came out
that.
of, or I guess
A band and a record
Yeah.
came out of that. Yeah.
Burner State, and then NBR wrote. Well, both of them, both my bands recorded. So
I mean, that's yeah. I think we're both
Burner State singles EP available now.
I feel like we're both in pandemic baby bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't imagine like hitting the road full time and trying to like make a living off of that, especially right now. Like especially in the state where like everything's so uncertain, like I really feel for people who, are touring bands by trade, but at the same time, like don't have any other reserves or backup or income when shit like this happens, like when the pandemic happens. Like there were shows left and right that were just like, dude, I've had Kill Switch and Gates tickets for Riverside Municipal for 2.5 years now. It was like,
Dang.
like, I mean, so, and at some point they sent me like a link. They're like, hey, yeah, the show's back on. Your tickets are still good. Also, here's like a live stream gig for you to enjoy. Like you tune in, and I'm like, hey man, we're adapting. We gotta, do whatever we can do. But yeah,
So, there's like kind of a tangent off top. There was a time right before all the lockdowns happened. One of our regulars, who actually I haven't seen him in a minute. I miss him. His name's Mike. He's cool. But
out there.
he had tickets to go see Rage Against the Machine. I think it's for like Montreal. And then when like things started happening, he's just like, dude, I'm not gonna risk it. I'm not gonna go. I was like, dude, I'll go. Like I was like, dude, give me like. And so I forget what it was, because it was something like I forget what the price was for the tickets, but he had 2 of them, and I was like, dude, I should find someone to go with me.
I would have gone with you.
Yeah, and like Montreal, like dude, like Montreal is sick. I was like, I loved going through there, and so like I remember thinking like, oh dude, this is gonna be rad. Like I'm gonna get Rage Against Machine tickets. I'm gonna see them in freaking Canada, and then the whole world shut down.
It's crazy because I haven't. I also had tickets to As Lay Dying and Whitechapel, and Whitechapel. Those are my boys. You know what I mean? Like, so I was like hitting up Alex, like, oh man, come see you. Whatever. Which shout out to them, man. Like their new record rips. Alex is a father now. He had a baby.
Congratulations.
Anyways, like so. I had tickets to that, and then it was just like, okay, we're not gonna cancel the show. We'll, just hold on to your tickets. Things are gonna come back. And then like a year later, it's like still keep holding on to those tickets, like it's gonna come back, and then like all of a sudden it just goes like, yeah, Ticketmaster just sent you a refund, for this show, and I'm like, man.
I'm still a big believer in the super tours.
Yeah.
Or like traveling festivals, basically, like smaller ones, or even just festivals in general, because I think there's so many bands now coming out of like people want to play.
Yeah. And
I just think like there's only so many venues and only so many dates, and I think like we're gonna start seeing some like cool, like really cool tour packages. Like
how do you feel about this big emo festival in Vegas?
I mean, it looks fake. It's
unreal.
It looks like Warped Tour from 2006.
But it's a Live Nation event, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think it is.
I didn't even bother looking at tickets. I'm like, this thing will sell out.
So tickets were like $295 for the basic day.
I'm gonna Warped Tour, dude.
Yeah.
Sneak in.
And then VIP, yeah, exactly. VIP packages. But what trips me out about it is that like, okay, these are like, it's 3 state. All those bands are on 3 stages in one day. So how do you even gauge like, like when we were kids, we were at Warped Tour, we were like, I'm gonna go see them at this stage, and I'm gonna fucking run
frustrating.
across. Like, and that was like 5 stages, like all over the place. And then the bands were kind of like, like, yeah, you might have a little bit of leeway. You might have to choose between like, am I gonna watch Sum 41 or Alkaline Trio? Like shit like that.
Dude, I saw Anti-Flag on accident because I was like having to like marathon run. This is when Warped Tour was at like the Anaheim, I don't know what to call it now, the Honda or the Palm, whatever.
Yeah.
And like, I just remember like Ryan Sears and I were like running for days, and then there's like this makeshift like ring, like fighting ring.
Yeah. And
they were playing in it.
What?
Yeah. It was Anti-Flag, and we were like stopped and we're like,
sick.
Oh, these are sick. Anyway, sorry. So like, yeah, I don't know how they're gonna. I mean, 3 stages kind of sounds manageable, I think.
3 stages, but all those bands are huge though. It's not like there's like,
Yeah, you're right.
9 big bands that are all going to play on the 3 different stages, and then all the little bands. So it's all these bands, 3 stages, and then now they've done I think a 3rd day. They open up the following weekend. But it just seems like it's going to be so hard to manage like who I want to watch, and
unless they do it like It's Not Dead Festival, which is so sick. They had like a couple stages, but then they had the 4 headliners for that were I think it was the Descendants, Pennywise, NoFX, and Bad Religion, probably. Okay. I think that's what it was, 4 bands. And so what they did was they had somebody come out and they spun a wheel, and it like whatever band it landed on, they went first, and they spun it again. Sick. Yeah, so that's how they figured out the headliners, how they would play, and then they were on a rotating stage. So one band would be playing, the other band would be setting up. And then when they finished, they would rotate it out, and it would just start right away. It was sick. Maybe they'll do something like that. Maybe not. I don't know.
But maybe not.
It's the year 2022.
Yeah.
They can do anything. Hover stages. Remember how sick the future used to look in movies from like the 90s and the 80s? Here we are.
Yeah, I agree with the whole like mini festival, mini tour things. As long as it's manageable.
Yeah.
As long as it's manageable. I feel like when I saw those tickets go up, because I was a huge fan of like all those bands, and so I was like, oh, like I'd get a ticket for this, and then like the more I thought, like I second guessed myself, like, am I gonna pay like $500 and then just stand there confused and then miss bands that I want to see because I don't know who to choose? Like, it's stuff like
I want to see that list.
Dude, it's insane. Like,
what's it called? The festival?
When We Were Young. Here it is.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like look at the names on that flyer.
I'll tell you what bands I don't care to see. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, let's talk about the bands I don't want to see.
Dang. Okay. I mean, I would want to see. Holy shit.
I mean, like,
I've honestly, I've given it a scan. Like I saw, like the.
I mean, you have so for what this festival is, you have My Chemical Romance and Paramore as the two top billed acts, which is fair.
Right, but Avril Lavigne.
Right. You have AFI. You have The Used.
See, I could live without seeing AFI because I've seen them several times. I've seen The Used.
But there's also artists on here which I mean I get why the bands are here because hey, let's make a comeback, but also at the same time like
which Seosin is this? Is this Anthony Green Seosin?
I don't know.
Because that would be a must watch for me, I think. But like,
I mean,
I don't even know that I'd want to see like Paramore just because I've seen them. Actually, I'm saying that now, but I think
yeah,
if I knew they were playing about that.
But I mean, look, like you have Silverstein, Story of the Year, The Starting Line,
dude, Glassjaw. Oh, sick! A band whose name I can't read. I didn't think there'd be one of those on there. Do you know what that is?
Which one?
This one right here, in the bottom right, red. Good for
Kitty.
them. Oh. Anyway, this is crazy.
I mean, and this is such entertaining audio. By the way.
I know. People are like watching us watch them they can't see.
But like, so bands like
Acceptance.
Yeah.
Sick. Starting Line. Last week. Yeah. That's cool. This is cool. But I guess honestly, the only band I'd really want to see really like go on my way would probably be Avril Lavigne, just because I've never seen Avril Lavigne live. But everyone else, it'd be cool to see, but I don't think I'm not gonna lose sleep. I don't think.
Armor for Sleep.
Amberlin. So I have a funny Amberlin story. So when on Warped Tour, this is when Rick was still in the band. Rick loved Amberlin. And wait, did he love Amberlin, or was I trying to sell him on Amberlin?
I don't know.
I can't remember. Anyway,
I can tell you that Rick loves Story of the Year.
For sure he does. And when Rick was out of the band, we played beer pong with them. I like to say we became great friends.
With Amberlin?
No, it's Story of the Year.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, and I even made a sign. I made Dan, the singer from Story of the Year. He was like down to hold it. It just said, "Hey Rick, fuck you." I showed him.
Amazing.
He's like, I told him, I was like, "Yeah, it's our old bass player." He like left the band to like get married and start a career and stuff.
To be real successful in life.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh yeah, dude, fuck that guy." No, it's good.
To open up cool escape rooms.
Yes. No, but so we went to see Amberlin, and the singer was like struggling, and he said he didn't sleep. I forget, he said something, and I remember thinking like, "Oh yeah, what an excuse." I have very little pity for bands that are in buses, like very little pity for them, and so he was like, I was like, dang, because I'd never seen them live before, and I was like, oh, they're not very good. I think like the next day, we happened to be in the same spot, like trying to like promote MBR. That's what we did on Warped Tour, and phenomenal.
Yeah.
He like got.
So he just really had like an off night.
Yeah, he had a really off night, and he sounded so good the next night. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. All right, next question.
All right, next question. What do you wish you had been told before touring and signing with a label? I think those are two completely different things.
Yeah. I wish I would have been told. Yeah, I don't know. Wish what I would have been told like before signing to a label, or like just what I wish I would have been told before like doing music.
Before touring and signing with a label.
Before touring. I think one of the things, I think we could have been a little choosier on our tours. Yeah. I think we were just so like, I think the fear of like falling out of, relevance, like kind of thing, and just feeling like you have to stay on the road. Like we had the best, and we put ourselves in that position to have the best problem, which was staying on the road all the time. I think we could have been a little smarter about that.
Yeah.
Probably how we manage things, like internally. Like I don't know. The label, we kind of got screwed in our first label only because they changed the guy who we signed with. It was Standby, and it was owned by Nick, the guy named Nick, and then he ended up selling the label to this other guy named Neil, and it sucked when Neil had it.
I remember you being very public about that.
Yeah, I didn't care. Dude, we signed Neil. You traded in front of him.
Really?
Yeah, he came to our Peabody show in Cleveland. He's a big dude. He could have probably hurt all of us, but we didn't care. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I can't speak much on it. I was spoiled. We were,
Yeah. I don't know. I guess, probably just be a little more cheesier on tours. But then, I don't know. I just, I can't. It would have been so hard. It would have been so hard to tell myself, especially back then, or any of us in NBR back then, to be like, "Hey, let's pass on this."
Yeah.
You know, could we be like, "Why? We have nothing else coming up."
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know.
So I guess that leads into our next question then. Are you more vulnerable with singing or screaming, or are you harder on your screams, singing, or lyrics?
I mean, my biggest stress is I want to have the lyrics. I want that to be the best thing that I do or what I'm known for. I'd rather have that accolade over being a good singer or screamer. So yeah, lyrics. And then after that, like, I mean, you know, I don't like screaming.
This is where we're opposite.
Oh yeah, dude, if I could just, that's why I love Burner State. Dude, it's so much fun just singing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, screaming, like when I'm on stage and it's happening, it's, you know, I'm in it and I don't, you know, I'm not like, oh, this sucks. Like, I don't like screaming, but I definitely think that when I'm recording.
Yeah.
I definitely think that when I'm like warming up, because I'm like, oh, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I like singing more. I just like singing.
Yeah.
And so I would prioritize that or stress that, I guess, more. Screaming for me was kind of something I just do. Wish I could do better, but.
So are you more vulnerable when you're singing or when you're screaming?
I don't know. I guess I don't know. Singing?
For me, it's singing.
Oh, then it'd be screaming for me then.
So I actually also, last week we talked about Jesse dropping bombs and revelations on people. Had a Jesse drop a bomb and revelation on me that one of the nights we were hanging out and we were a little intoxicated. There was about $100 worth of Jack in the Box in front of us. And Jesse was like, hey, you know, Perez said that, you know, like he really wishes that you would do some more clean vocals in your music. So you should probably consider that.
What? Oh, Jesse.
So, you know.
Jesse saying things again.
You never know with Jesse. But, yeah, I mean, for me,
Dude,
singing.
I don't want to bring it up right now, but you did. I thought, had you really committed to doing that song, your first song from the vocal lesson.
No.
What? Say it.
10 minutes ago from
10 minutes ago, Cinderella. Because his voice is so deep, and so for him to like sing up there higher, like I hadn't heard your voice do that.
So
I thought it was cool.
For what it's worth, I actually enjoyed singing that song, even if it was a step higher in my range. But then we moved on. And I never got to sing the full glory of that song.
Dude, when we just ask Wendy, she'll go back. She'll go back for you, man. So
yeah, for those who don't know, Mike and I sing Cinderella songs. We sing Disney songs. Mm-hmm. We sing
for our vocal lesson, because otherwise we wouldn't sing them on our own.
Because we'd never choose to drive together to Raising Cane's and listen to musicals the whole way. One
of the things that I realize when I'm singing most songs is that I do the.
You tend to go for the
I tend to go for the female part.
Yeah.
I did was it falling slowly?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was trying to go for the high one, which I have no business doing, but that's just where that's.
You do have a tendency to like go for the high note though. We even talked about this like in the first episode, when we were talking about the EP, or the second episode, we were talking about the EP, and there was a part that I was like, "Hey man, like tone it down a little bit," and then you realize afterwards, I'm doing the harmony,
high harmony.
I'm doing the high harmony. I'm not even doing like the main verse.
That will just chalk it up to I was just excited. it had been a couple years, guys. I was a little excited.
I listened to the demo that you did like in the bathroom with the headphones, and I was like, "Oh yeah, he's going for that high one, huh?" Just go for the high one.
Well, you know, everyone sounds better in the bathroom, in the shower, so yeah, that's cool. I went for it.
Okay, so what influences you most in the creative process?
The music, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have themes kind of like in my head. I have things that I would like to write about, like possible angles I would like to write about for like a topic. But it's not until I hear the song, and then when I hear the song, then I have a pretty good idea of like, okay, this feels like it should be this. And so once I feel that in the song, as lame as that sounds, then I kind of I kind of know where I'm going, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what other. I definitely I try to listen to like rap stuff when I know we're about to like record, just because like I'm not creative with screaming patterns. And I don't even know why I even do this. Like I do that because Martin or Daniel or someone else in the band will like fix it anyway. They'll always give me something cooler. They're like, try, and then
try this. Why don't you do this?
Yeah. Were you trying to be ahead of it like that?
Yeah. Hey man, your timing sucks.
Yeah. Okay, so you did that. Okay, let's see. Let's try this. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I don't know. If I have music, that usually will get me going.
Yeah. My answer's pretty much the same as yours. Okay, and then let's see. Before we get into like the heavier questions,
the nitty-gritty.
3 Lonely Island albums to keep your mind and soul at rest. I didn't even know Lonely Island had 3 albums.
I just know the one that has like Space Olympics. Like Space Olympics.
Let's see. So there's Turtleneck and Chain, Incredibad, the Whack album, and then of course Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stoppin'.
I've only heard Turtleneck and Chain, and then the
Incredibad.
Yeah, Incredibad.
There's a couple really good songs from that movie Popstar. Never Stop,
yeah.
Never Stop.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's basically the album.
Basically Long Island, but
that movie's so freaking funny.
The scene with Seal.
They have attacked by wolves.
Yeah.
Or like when there's like a random like dick out the window.
Okay, so let's go. I'm gonna rearrange these so that they kind of go in and. Actually, no. I'm gonna do it this way. How do you find value in yourself at the darkest of times without letting negativity take over?
I just try to. Okay, so this is probably going to be my answer to a lot of stuff like this. Like, hey, how do you get yourself here? So for me personally, my biggest tool to like pull myself out, or at least try to get my mind on a more like positive path, is I try to focus on gratitude. And so I have like a list, and then and I go down that list, and it's like it could be anything from like I'm thankful for the ability to walk unassisted. you know, that I have vision. You know, it sucks, but I have vision. I can hear. I can still, you know, I'm still conscious enough to make decisions for myself. I still have, you know, my hands work. You know, things like that, which it sounds kind of like silly, I guess. But if you can really allow yourself to like get in that moment and really think about like how awesome that is, like to have that, because, you know, and then from there I go into other things like to the people in my life, and then I go into like becoming thankful for opportunities that I've had, things that I've been able to do, and so that kind of gets me out, and I think I'm able to like realize like I'm more capable than I think I am. I don't know. I try to, you know, for any, I guess this is kind of an easy one for anyone like right now who's feeling that way. It's like we can literally say you've survived a pandemic if you're still here, if you're still listening to this. Like you survived, you know, regardless of what anyone's thoughts are on it. Like the world shut down. Like there's people having like there was a time when everybody was, you know, isolated. The world was not what it was. You know, if you're somebody that's lost your job and your world has been changed, like your life has been changed or ruined, but you're still able to still talk about it, like you're a much stronger person than you probably even realize. And so, what was it? How do you find value in yourself? Yeah. And so, like understand that, you know, one of my like I've been called a conspiracy theorist, or whatever. But one of my biggest hang-ups with the world is I just feel like everything is trying to tell you how insignificant you are. Everything is trying to tell you how unimportant or how like useless things are. And I understand that kind of thinking can be good in the sense of like we shouldn't give things that much value, like things that don't really matter. Like I understand that, but it's like to not care about like your life or not to like to do things because like it doesn't matter, you don't matter. I think that's like one of the biggest like psyops is to make people feel insignificant. And so, you know, it's crazy that we even think that, like with how insane we are as people. We have systems in our own body that have to work with our environment. Like you're like people don't realize how crazy special they are. So you're a walking, like everyone like gives all the praise to these new like that new AIs that are supposedly coming out and like all these like, you know, Elon Musk's rockets and all these crazy technologies, and it's like you don't realize how freaking crazy humans are now, and we've been around for how long, and we're still able to adapt to all these crazy things going on. So I think I did good there. I didn't go on a tangent. Too bad of a tangent.
This one's kind of this one and actually the next question also are kind of tough ones for me because my approach is kind of different, and I'm almost afraid to say it because I know that like the point of this show is to kind of, you know, be an open space and like, you know, and I've gotten a lot better than that, but I think you know this about me, like I internalize a lot, right? And I actually like when things are really bad, I find things to do that are almost monotonous. Like I'll go into the garage and I'll do stuff like an oil change, or I'll work on a bike, or I'll go like, you know, just work on a project that I know is simple and easy. And like there are times when like, and they always say that like that's the most dangerous kind of person. I'll do it with no music, nothing going on in the background, just me and my thoughts, right? And even though like I'm doing something, I'm working on something specific, my mind is just dealing with what I'm going through. And like I know it's kind of like counterintuitive because we want people to be open, we want people to discuss things, but there are times when like the only way that I can come to terms with it myself is to just do something that I know I'm capable of, and then almost like just
it allows you to work it out in your head.
Yeah, work it out in my head to where like I'm not just sitting and thinking and doing nothing, because that's when it's the worst for me. Like for me to just sit still and experience my emotions is like, not only is it difficult for me, but it's so like, that's where it gets completely, like, that's the darkest, right? But if I'm doing something that is like second nature to me, that I know how to do, or that like I'm good at, like, this doesn't require much thought or effort to be doing this while I'm working through everything going on, or like even just like some of the things that we've talked about lately. Like, I've had to have like almost like coming to God moments where I'm like working on one thing, but my mind's not really here. Right. This is just something to keep busy while I'm dealing with the thoughts and emotions. And
dude, that's actually really healthy. That's like coping. You're using coping mechanisms. Yeah. For yourself, like those, because that's for you, right? Because that's like something you turn to. You know, like I think it is good to be able to like get what's inside out. I think that's like why therapy is important and good. But I think also if you're able to have something that's, because I'd imagine that's also kind of soothing in a way, because it helps you, it gives you something tangible to do. And then your mind is able to, kind of how we were talking about watching movies and playing a game. Yeah. Like, it's funny. I didn't even realize that I do that, but I literally do that too. And I think it's just another way to focus. You know, I used to love, as a kid, and I didn't realize, I used to love to like draw and listen to music. Yeah. And I think I was focusing more on music. I think I can't draw, but I think it was just more something that I was like really focused on the music, even though I was like doing, you know, a dumb sketch or coloring or whatever it was. But like, yeah, I think that's healthier than you think it is. I think the next step would just be like to get it out. But I think if you're able to like face it while you're doing that, and you're able to,
I feel like, I mean, with me personally, like, it might not work with anybody else, and that's fine. Like, your method may not. As long as your method isn't like physically harmful to yourself or to somebody else, or even mentally, like emotionally harmful to you. Like, I think that like everybody has their own ways of dealing with things and coping, right? Like, generally, like I said, like, I'll do this and I'll come to terms with it in my head, and then I'll turn around and I'll, like, normally when I come to you with something, like, I've kind of thought a lot of it out.
That's cool. Oh, so
there's been very few times where I've come, like I said, we've talked to you and I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
why'd I say that?
Like, yeah, why'd I say, or what I do, you know, whatever. Which also recently I just learned, and this is a total side tangent, and this is going to explain my side tangent. There's a lot more to ADD and the reasons why people do things than I ever thought. Like, I always thought that it was just this, like,
distracted easily.
You're distracted easily. But like, there's even like facets to ADD, like lying, right? Some people with ADD, and I'm not saying this is everybody, some people with ADD will subconsciously just like lie just to appease somebody that's coming at them with things that they don't want to deal with, right? Like, it's like a coping mechanism. Or they're in the conversation with you, but they're kind of also not in the conversation with you. So then they just give you the response that they think you're looking for, right? So like, they'll just tell you like, oh, this is probably what they want to hear from me, even if it's genuine or not. And then later on, when you come back to it and you like address it, they're like, what are you talking about? Like, I never, because I'm dealing with some of this, like with you know, some work stuff, and I have to like be very conscious of it, because I'm like, oh yeah, that makes like, I have to remember that. I have to, you know, makes total sense. Just like this episode was sponsored by Liquid Death.
It's water, mother.
So it's one of those things that going back to the question,
Liquid Death.
Going back to the question that was sponsored by Liquid Death Mountain Spring Water. Drinking water from the Alps.
The Alps. Vikings drink this.
So another side tangent, total ADD moment. When I first saw Liquid Death, it was through some people that rode motorcycles with, right? And I was like, oh yes, water in a can. because we have the Warped Tour water in a can was just a monster can with fine print that said Tour water. So Monster's genius marketing was, let's put water in our Monster cans. That way your favorite band or artist is always drinking quote unquote Monster, even though it's water. And there was just something about like one of those cans in a cooler full of ice, that the ice is somewhat melted, so it's freezing cold, and you just pull that bad boy out and crack it open. That slight hint of aluminum taste to it, just it's perfect. So I got excited when I saw Liquid Death, and then I would buy cases here and there, and then I would watch my budget and not buy cases here and there, and then I'd buy more cases. I've been rocking with Liquid Death since before it became big.
Dude, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty new to the Liquid Death.
Before it became huge.
I remember I'd have to pull out my waters on Warped Tour just so they can be not so cold.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, like back to the questions, we can finish it off. Whatever you need to do really to kind of cope with your emotions or when times are the worst and are the darkest, like there's not like a one solution for everybody type of situation. Right. I think that a lot of it for me personally is coming to terms with yourself and understanding why the times have gotten so dark, whether it's something you did, whether it's something someone else did, whether it's the scenario you were placed in, whether it's just, the luck of the draw, or whatever that factor is that kind of sparked this and put you in this place. I think it's really big to try and understand that and to try and find the source of what's causing this. It could be a breakup. It could be, losing somebody close to you. It could be, the fact that you have gray hair and you look older than your older brother. Whatever the case may be, like you have to
something like that.
I think you have to really come to terms with like what's causing that darkness and those dark times, which is why therapy is such a huge thing, is because if you're not a person who can work to those conclusions on your own, that's totally okay. Like there's a reason that people, one, are trained for this, or two, that there are people that understand and listen to you, because sometimes all you need is just to say shit out loud and like work it out. Like it might not make sense thinking about it over and over and over in your head, but the minute that you vocalize it, it's almost a different perspective.
Yeah.
So,
and I think just having awareness of how you're feeling, give yourself like checks on how you're feeling, like whether you're feeling anxious or whatever, or you think you're angry or you feel sad, or even if you feel good, you should always take inventory of what exactly you're feeling and try to understand that, so that when like if you feel like you feel sad or or you feel like anxious, like there's things you can try to think about, like, okay, this feels like I'm feeling it in my chest, like I'm having a hard time getting good air, or like I'm feeling it in my lower back, like this is like literally for me, I feel it in my lower back, I feel it in my chest, I feel it on my shoulders, and so like there's certain things that like I've learned over time for myself that if I start feeling certain things, I'm like, oh shoot, I'm about to have an anxiety attack. Like I've gotten to that point where I can identify that, and I can. It's weird when I feel it coming. I feel like I can. Half the time I feel like, okay, I'm gonna go on a walk, or I'm gonna go ride a bike, like I have a home bike, or I'm gonna go do something, or go get coffee. I don't know. And there's other times where it's almost like I just want to be in it. Yeah. And I feel like not I'm happy, but I just feel like I want to just like, I want to slip into this.
I want to feel everything that I'm supposed to be feeling. Yeah. Like I said, it's different for everybody, but the main thing is that you work through it, however that may be, however that manifests itself. Like you just have to, whether it's by yourself, whether it's with somebody, you know, whether it's, you know, professional help or maybe just like somebody close to you that understands you or that is just at least willing to listen to you, you know. I think that's a big deal. All right. So how do you finally find a way of feeling okay after lying to yourself about what is okay?
Wait, can you read it again?
So how do you finally find a way of feeling okay after lying to yourself about what is okay?
Like the whole fake it till you make it kind of thing. Like lying, or smiling through.
I think it could be partly that. The way I interpreted it is like, how do you find a way of feeling okay after you've been lying to yourself about what's acceptable in your life, right? Like, or things that are, it could be things that are being done to you, situations that you've put in, like with work, for example, right? Like, you know, we didn't really go in depth into this, and we can ask this if you want to, but like, so when you first got the job, you thought you were going to have one schedule, right? And then when you started, it was a completely different schedule that, like you said, you were planning on going there and then starting to work on your master's. And then with this schedule, it was just like, that's not even a possibility, you know?
Oh, yeah. And then realizing that, okay, this isn't going to really change. And then you take action.
So like, so how do you finally find a way of feeling okay after lying to yourself about what is quote unquote okay?
Yeah. Oh, I can do this. Like, that's the thing. I could have kept doing my job for sure.
Yeah.
But I just felt like it was like I wanted to do something else, move on.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I mean, I guess, you know, I think anytime you feel like, it's hard because I feel like this is easier said than done. And if everyone did this, then, you know, our world would look very different. But you know, you really need to take care of yourself and like look out for you and make decisions for you. You know, and I know that's hard because I know some people have like, you know, it's like, well, I can't just like not work because I have a family. Or I know I can't just do this because I have this. Like, I understand that. But, you know, at the same time, like, you know, what's that? There's like a saying, like, you can't help. An empty cup can't fill another cup. I don't know. I forget. There's a really cool saying.
I don't know what it is, but you know.
Yeah. But anyway, like if you're not taking care of yourself, and if you're not careful, like you can really, like it could be dangerous, you know. And you should always look out for your safety. You know, like for me, I think that's one of the things that started scaring me was I started to like realizing I was like, there's some things that I just didn't care about anymore. And I could feel myself starting to get really like callous to certain things, and I just know like I don't like, not even that like, oh, that's not me. I was like, I don't want that to be me. Like I don't like feeling that way. I don't like being that. And so I don't know. I think, man, it's hard because I again I want it. The easy thing is like, oh, you know, if you get out of the situation you're in, you know, or try this or that. But I know in some instances people are, you know, they feel stuck. But I guess I will say, as best you can, because you can always change. Like, big change doesn't have to be a big thing, you know. In some cases, you know, like changing your diet could be a massive change, you know. And start small, like, you know, for that, like for someone who's like, I want to eat better, I want to do this and that, I want to do, well, if you have, you know, some people might not have the budget to go get better meals or meal prep or have the time to meal prep, you know. So then do like small things like, you know, I'm not gonna get coffee, or I'm not gonna drink soda anymore. I'm not gonna drink beer. I'm not gonna do this. I'm just try to drink water or something, or I'm gonna try to drink less, or I'm not. You know, there's small changes you can do that can impact things later on. You know, like everybody at some point be like, I need to get in shape. I'm gonna go to the gym, you know, 4 times a week, and I'm gonna do this and that. It's like, or just try going on a walk after work. Yeah. You know, or just try or park further than you would, and make that be something you do. You know, or like instead of taking the elevator, take stairs. Like there's small things I think you can do to change in your life, and they may feel like super insignificant, but I think if you do enough small changes, it becomes it can have bigger it can impact in bigger ways, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like you said, like the little things, the little changes, it even comes down to like, and I joke about this, but like, it's really serious, right? And it all ties back to Deion Sanders. You know, if you look good, you feel good. Feel good, you play good, right?
Yeah. True.
But so a friend of mine, I'm gonna call him out on the show, Andrew, you know, friend of ours, and so he was having like kind of like an identity crisis, right? I'm trying to word this like in the most politically correct way possible. And I told him like, hey man, like just start by taking care of your appearance, right? Like he's a personal trainer, he's lost so much weight and he's become so fit at this point that like you wouldn't notice like the dude that he was before versus now. But that's like kind of just the first like one small change that he made, right? But he was still feeling like he still didn't like his own appearance. And don't get me wrong, once you start lifting weights, you're gonna have body dysmorphia forever. Like you're just gonna be like, I'm not buff enough, my biceps aren't big, like whatever. But so I just told him like little things, like dude, like get regular haircuts. You know, like make sure that your clothes, like don't go to the gym in sweatpants that have bleach stains and that are torn on the side. Like don't wear shoes that have a hole in the side of them. Like overall, just like make you like, just, you don't even have to wear expensive things.
Right.
Just clean up your appearance and be presentable. Right. Mm-hmm. And then it started with shoes, right? I'm a big fan of sneakers. I've put Mike onto some sneakers.
Having my shoes I have no business buying.
He bought some shoes he had no business buying, but they're a phenomenal pair of Air Maxes, right? Yeah. So with Andrew, I told him, I go, look, dude, like, let's start here. It's your birthday. I'm going to buy you a pair of shoes. We'll keep it simple. Like he had a style. Like he would always wear either Adidas Superstars or Adidas Stan Smiths all the time. And he would wear them until they were literally had a hole on it or like the bottom was flapping. And then he'd maybe consider getting another pair. And like, I get it. Shoes aren't for everybody. You don't have to have excessive amounts of shoes. But I still think like be presentable, right? So I bought him a pair of Blazers. Simple, low top, clean. They're like the Blazer 77s, white with the burgundy check. And we go out to dinner and I go, hey man, like just, just put these shoes on and we're going to throw your old shoes away. Like, cause they're just crusty. Like they're so beat down that like the leather's, like all jacked up. You could see the cracks all the way down to the underneath leather. And so he's like, it's not going to make that big of a difference. I go, I promise you it will. Just put the shoes on. You'll feel good, So the second that he puts these shoes on and I go, take that shoebox and throw it away, we're walking down this hallway. Now, if you guys have been to Redlands, California, there's this Instagram hallway that everybody takes pictures at, right? It's an alleyway. It's got like umbrellas floating at the top. It's right where we ate grilled cheese sandwiches, cheese wall.
Adult grilled cheese sandwiches.
Grilled cheese sandwiches.
They're manly.
Delicious. We should go after this. What time do they close? So we start walking down the hallway. As he's going to throw the shoes away, he puts them in the trash can. He turns. We keep walking down the hallway. And I kid you not, this very attractive blonde lady, female, chick, I don't know the proper terminology. Blonde woman. So this very attractive blonde woman.
Wait, it's probably not right to say.
It's not probably right either.
This person with blonde hair.
This blonde person. This very attractive blonde person. You can tell we're children of the 90s. So they're walking down the alleyway in the opposite direction, and she looks at Andrew. She gives him the up down the one time, and then smiles and pulls her hair back behind her ear. Keeps walking, keeps it cool, keeps the calm collected, keeps going. And he's in front of me, I'm behind him, and I'm seeing all this, and I'm just smiling. Right? Mm-hmm. To me, I'm like,
You're
So-
like, I told you so.
So Andrew's excitable, and he turns around. He goes, "Do you know that girl?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You have to know that girl. You told her to do that, didn't you?" I was like, "I swear to you on everything, I have no clue who that was." And it's like that. Like that's not that big a deal, right? It's not that big a deal, but just little wins, little W's, little boosts of confidence that'll just continue to build and continue to grow, right? So like now after that he's bought quite a few pairs of sneakers. He's kind of,
You've created a monster.
I have. He's elevated his outfits, but the big thing is he started taking care of himself, and he started
To feel better.
Yeah, he started being happy with seeing his reflection in the mirror rather than like, oh man, like no matter what I do, like I'm just that guy, So, yeah, it's like, I really do believe that it's like little things like that.
I think that can just overall being like just caring about what you have.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
And then to really kind of dive a little bit more into this question, like how do you finally find a way of feeling okay after lying to yourself about what is okay? I talked about a couple episodes ago, I'm going through a situation with like one of my best friends in the world, where our relationships have just kind of gone separate ways. And I actually had semi-repaired that, like that relationship was on a good track. And then I opened up to them about other things going on in my life. And the mentality there was just like, why would you do this? Like, why are you doing it? It's like this whole like, well, that's stupid. Like, what are you thinking? Like, it was just this, kind of like a response that I wasn't expecting. Right. And then that kind of led to another falling out. And when you deal with situations like that, kind of like you've dealt with these people, or you've dealt with people in your life that have treated you one way or that have approached situations one way. And then you start to realize at some point, are you doing this because you love them and care for them so much? Are you okay with them acting this way towards you because of how you feel for them? Like if you apply this to any type of relationship or friendship or anything like that, there's always toxic relationships or toxic friendships or, people that are in your life where like when you take a step back from it, you're like, what am I doing here? Like what, like we shouldn't even be friends. But then when you're there and you're in it, you're like, oh, but this is comfortable because this has been this way for so long. It's okay. Like this, it's okay that things are like this. It's okay that
They talk to me
this way. It's the same thing as like you have that one friend who always talks shit about everything that you're doing. That's not my situation. You have this one friend that talks shit about everything that you're doing all the time. At some point, are you like, yo, are you actually just like a hater or
are you trying to motivate me?
Yeah. Like, what are you trying to do here? And like, if you never see the other side of things where like they're trying to motivate you and trying to make you better, or they tell you that that's, this is what I'm doing, then at that point, like you have to kind of reassess, like, is this good for your mental health? Is this good for your state of mind to have somebody that you consider to be your best friend who's always shitting on what you're trying to do? So it's things like that. Like, I guess the big roundabout point I'm making is like, you have to kind of like the last question, you have to really determine for yourself what's good for you, and your best mental health, your best case scenario, whatever you can do to improve your life. Yeah. And you have to accept whether the things that have been going on in your life are okay, like in the question, or if that's something that, hey, this is really not good for me. People are always going to have their opinions. People are always going to have their mentalities. People are always going to think, and in this situation, I don't know if they're talking about relationships, but if you have somebody who's treating you a certain way and they believe that they're doing the right thing, and then you believe that you're doing the right thing, maybe there's a reason why it's not working. In the same, like this could apply to so much. Like it could apply to abuse. It could apply to work. It could apply to everything. Like, if you're at your job and you're putting in all this extra time and you're noticing that nobody else is, but then everybody is reaping the benefits of your work, is this a place that you need to stay? Is it okay? Like, are you okay with things being this way? Mm-hmm. And what can you do to change or fix your situation? So it's tough because really it all stems from, and it all goes back to you. Like, I think there's a lot of power in, being cognizant of what's going on around you, and then either accepting it and dealing with it, or making a change. But either way, in order to get out of that situation, you have to make that decision to do that.
Yeah. That was my knees. I don't know if you heard that. Both my knees just popped through hard. Yeah. That's good. No, I don't want to go on another tangent. I want to say, or realizing that you might be that to someone else. Like, you might be what might be holding someone back, or you might be what's, you might be the one who, if you don't, that's the thing too. Like, we don't realize when we do things, like, when it comes to friendships, families and stuff, like, a lot of times, like, families mean well when they're getting on you for not doing this and that. Like, in a way, I'm kind of going through that, like, right now. Like, I know, like, there's things that are conversations being had, and I know the intent behind them. So I'm like, it's okay, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't like, I wish it wasn't quite this way, but I see where you're coming from. So that's difficult. But I guess, like you said, it comes down to the person. It comes down to what are you willing to be okay with until you feel like you need to change, move on, or
I mean, it's kind of like the quote that we brought up earlier, and it does apply. There's actually two quotes that apply, but the second one is more, kind of sarcastic. But the one I read earlier, which basically is just saying that, like, you don't know if you're the villain in somebody else's story. Right. You don't, like, you may see things one way, somebody else may see things completely differently. And
that's like at my work, these kids, like, there's certain things that, like, we know they were doing, like, we know, like, first, like, when they use, like, when they're high and stuff, like, they're not supposed to, but we can't, unless we see them doing it, we can't stop them. Right. And so, like, one of the kids was like, we'd go to the skate park, and one of the kids was like, hey, can you not stand over here? Or, like, do you have to report everything you're saying? Like, yeah. And he was getting upset, and I was like, I can deal with you being upset with me. Like, this is for your, like,
it's really for your own.
It's, trying to do this for you. Like, you're the one who wants to go back, be reunited with whoever. And so I'm okay. I'm okay with them being mad at me for helping them get to where they're trying to go, even if they don't see it that way. Yeah.
So, and then that brings me to this quote. It's Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
It says, I'm at that stage in my life where I keep myself out of arguments. Even if you tell me 1 + 1 = 5, you're absolutely correct. Enjoy. Hopefully that answered the question. I know that, like, once again, we like to go on ADD tangents. The Mike Perez health check, and then the Mike Alcibar ADD corner.
I like to think we just like to chew on things.
All right, so let's end. We got one more question. Let's end with this.
Cool.
What's your all-time favorite song to just forget everything and just go all out?
That's hard, because I feel like I can do that. I can go all out for anything. If I'm good, if I'm angry, if I'm I can go all out.
So one of mine, I'll give you one of mine. It is it's an older song. It's a rap song, and it really has nothing to do with emotions or feelings. It's a UGK and Outkast song. International Players Anthem. Just because.
Which one's that?
Let's see. Let me see if I can play it if we don't get in trouble. So there's just something about this song. I remember when I first heard it, like forever and ever and ever ago. I just thought that the storytelling was so funny because it's like, you know, the dudes in Outkast, like, you know, here's Andre 3000 talking about like, I'm giving up all the hoes and I found the one and I'm starting a life, you know, whatever. And then it's like all the homies talking from like the player aspect, or like, you know, just like, hey man, like just remember, like, be careful because, you know, like things can get a little crazy out here. I don't know, like for me, it, like I said, it has nothing to do with emotions or health, but I really love that beat. And then it's just one of those songs that I've just, like, I could rap start to finish, and just, it's just, to me, the song is so fun that I just kind of zone out. Whenever it's on, I just crank it up in the car and like start rapping it.
I don't know. I feel like it's just like spare of the moment. Like I have like really random ones. Like there's really a band called The Living End, and they have a song called Fly Away.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's more. I really like singing along to it. I think that's like what makes it so fun for me. Regulate.
Oh, Regulator.
It's like, that's like one of my, I don't know, I feel like that's like in any moment for me song. Sometimes I'll just like bump that. It's probably weird to some people who are like, what the
There have been random times at my house where maybe we're barbecuing, we're just hanging out, and the TV's on, and normally, like, when everyone's here, we just throw on YouTube and it'll just be a random playlist of songs and music. And always, at least once, every time, Mike is like, hey, can somebody put on Regulators? Can somebody put on Regulate?
It does. One of the fun activities we did with the kids before I left, we went roller skating. I rollerbladed.
You can't do the 2 and 2.
I can, but I rollerblade. That's who I am. And so every time I went by the DJ, I would yell, "Play Regulate!" Like every time I went by him, I would scream that. And then
did he finally play it?
No, he did not. But every time I went by, I was like screaming at him. But yeah, I don't know. I have different ones. There's like Chicago songs I'll bump. There's Beach Boys. It all depends on my mood, I think.
Yeah.
You know. There's an old AFI song I really like that gets me. I don't know. I don't know. That's too hard of a question for me because I feel like I feel like I can go anywhere with that. So Maroon 5. Maroon 5 is like really like calming for me.
That's the go-to karaoke jam.
Yeah. Songs about Jane. That album is like perfect, pretty much.
Yeah.
Adele. Mariah Carey. Like, dude, Always Be My Baby is probably one of my. It's got to be up there as like one of my favorite songs, I think. Which I'm saying this too. Hopefully not many people. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of songs. Many songs. Have Heart. Sometimes I'll just go hard and Have Heart.
I'm going to like old Stick to Your Guns sometimes.
Yeah.
Definitely older Ghost Inside for me.
Yeah.
Older Ghost Inside songs. There are a few that I remember.
Whenever I think of old Ghost Inside, I think of Provoke. It's like my introduction to them, I think.
There was a song, and I don't want to get the song name wrong, so I'm going to look it up. It was off of Returners. I think it was Chrono, because I think it had Matt Brusso on it from Bury Your Dead.
I like the conflict with Tommy from Sleeping Giant.
That sounds good too. But I remember listening to that song and listening to the lyrics, and I was dealing with, I forget what I was dealing with something like I was having a meltdown about like losing my job, right? Because I think I had just quit my job at the law office at the time to tour. And then through quitting my job, my relationship was also falling apart. And I was just like, what am I doing? Like, am I doing the right thing? Like, you know, like that hard decision of like, okay, I'm just throwing my whole life away to, you know, like do this. Yeah. I remember listening to Chrono and like the whole thing, like that, looking forward for a taste of things to come. I can't see familiar faces on anyone. Life is trying to pass me by, but not this time. I'm not afraid. Whatever. I remember this opening the door here, people. I was in the old house. I was in the old house. I was taking a dump.
Oh, literally open the door. Okay.
Yeah, the door was open. No one else was home. This is one of the rare times no one else was home. I'm taking a dump. I had headphones in, and I was just listening to that song, and I just sat there listening to it over and over and over again. And I remember texting Dave and being like, Dave, you need to listen to this song. Like, this shit has me like emotional right now. You have to listen to this because like this is how I feel right now. I remember texting him, and he was like, what are you doing? And I was like,
nothing, Dave. Listen to the song.
Just listen to the song. Well, yeah. So there, yeah.
Damn, that's cool.
It's definitely interesting times.
Changes from Tupac is probably another one that gets me.
Dude, I remember recording Changes on a cassette, waiting for it to come on the radio.
Oh, dude.
And legit hitting record.
There's a whole generation of people that they don't know what
No
that's
clue.
like. Waiting.
And it was like the censored version.
Afternoon for us. Dude. Oh, yeah. The censored version. Yeah. Or it was, at least for rock music, I think it was X103.9.
Mm-hmm.
Where like, I think like after 9 o'clock, they would play the uncensored versions or something. Or maybe it was 6 months. I don't know. One of those stations.
It was like, I thought it was later than that. Like after 11.
Or maybe like 11 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, people. Oh man, I remember that too. I remember doing that for Green Day. Green Day was like my first band that I did. Green Day and Ace of Base.
Ace of Base. Oh man,
dude, I had a tape, a mixer that I made my fully aware of what I was doing. I made it had Alanis Morissette on it.
Okay.
It had Pearl Jam.
Ironic.
That Jagged Little Pill, like okay. Songs from that, and then it had on both sides because I liked it so much. It had the Mortal Kombat song.
No way.
I don't know. I just don't want to
just
turn it around. Yep, the one. Just and that's all. Mortal Kombat
with the laser.
Yeah. Oh, it had some dialogue. Men
yeah.
women defending their own worlds.
And then just stated their names. Luke.
Yeah. Dude, yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, last question before we jump off here, just because Dallas literally just texted me this. What's a good name for a gelato shop?
Dude, you know what? I know this is not crazy. I've only had gelato, I think, once or twice my whole life.
Really?
Yeah. I
mean, it's just like extra sweet and creamy ice cream, right?
I think gelato ice cream. I don't know. Gelato flavor. I don't know. Dude, your ideas, man. You know.
I don't know. I got to think this one through. I'm going to think about it, and I'm going to come back to you guys next week with my new gelato shop.
There we go.
And that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for rocking with us. Thank you for listening, tuning in. Please, once again, send out any questions that you have, walkingblindpod@gmail.com. Hit us on the Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah, and comments. I had a
Are
really
we on
cool.
Twitter? We should be
I
on
don't think
Twitter.
we are. We should be.
You're so big on Twitter. Why aren't we on Twitter?
I'm not. I'm active on it.
Comments, Instagram, email,
Yeah, comments. I had a really good.
OnlyFans.
One of my friends sent me her. She was disagreeing with me
Really?
on about tattoos.
Ooh.
But she was basically telling me why she thought, and I agree with her because she was saying like she has tattoos that even if she regret, like she doesn't see them as regrets because she would just see them as whether they're good or bad as like a time in her life, and she thinks of it.
That's fair.
You know, and I was like, I get behind that thinking.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact there's not every like there's people who have stuff that are getting them like removed or they're But I like that. All that to say is I appreciate when people like want to have more discussion on like things we've talked about or like hearing your like again I want to get back to the community aspect of what I would like for this to be at some point is to hear we share our opinion, we get questions, we share our thoughts. It'd be cool to hear your guys' thoughts too. So
yeah, if there's ever anything that sparks debate or interest or anything,
what songs get you going?
Yeah. So just to end the show, Dallas, in his total dad nature, said gel-lotto. Gel Lotto. $5 a scoop. But if you want to pay $3, you get the lotto choice. You're still going to get a scoop, but it's going to be whatever's not selling that day. It's quote unquote random, but realistically, it's like ordering the donuts nobody likes.
Oh, that's cool. I think I forget what bar. There was a bar we were at. I feel like it was in the Midwest, and it's something like you just it's like a raffle. You put in like $5, or it's a line. I think it's like your $5 is in line, and so if the bartender messes up a drink, then you can get it or something. And so it might be like someone didn't order this Bud Light, and so you paid $5 for a Bud Light that's probably like $2, or somebody didn't want this like
whiskey concoction.
Yeah. And so you got a discount. Anyway, whatever. I don't know what.
Dallas just asked, where can I listen to this podcast? I'm a little offended,
Wow,
Dallas.
Wow.
You can listen to it though at walkingblindpod@gmail.com. You can email us, or you can listen to it on
Spotify, YouTube,
Apple Podcasts. I'm pretty sure it's on Google Podcasts, Acast, YouTube, wherever the case may be. So make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe us on any of those. And
we'll see you guys next week.
Love you guys.
Peace.